I change your bum life. You fight me, it's a celebration. When you sign to fight me, it's a celebration. You ring back home, you ring your wife. Baby, we done it. We're rich, baby. Conor McGregor made us rich. Break out the red panties. We're rich, baby.
Yo, 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 welcome back to the fifth round. As always, your boy, Steven Moustaris. And man, it's nice to get back on here. It's my first video in about, I think, like 2 weeks. I just got back from Colorado. Was out there for like the last week, spending some time for one of my buddy's bachelor parties. It's kind of, getting to see the mountains, kind of disconnecting a little bit from, the everyday phones and everyday life. But I did get to watch some MMA, got to watch some UFC, I got to see Alexander Volkov, shock the world. I mean, maybe not shock the world, it's not the greatest thing to say, but definitely shocked the MMA world with a nice little TKO knockout of Rosenstruck. So I was absolutely mind blown. I didn't think he was going to get it done. Jairzinho, I thought was, going to get back on track, get a knockout. Maybe not knock out Volkov because he is somebody that's always there. But it was a really good performance for Volkov, especially after his last, getting dominated by Tom Aspinall. So, but this brings me into UFC 275 this weekend. And, man, just off the jump, this could have been a really stacked card if Robert Whittaker and Marvin Vettori could have stayed on the card. But we all know, not Marvin, but Whittaker had to pull out. So, the top three fights, I mean, god damn. I haven't been this excited for a... Well, I guess that's false because the last couple fight cards have just been amazing, so I've been really excited. But it's not every weekend you get to see arguably the GOAT of women's MMA fight in Valentina Shevchenko, which I'll get into probably next video. But I definitely wanted to dive in. The first... Well, I guess it'd be like the third feature fight. It's the last fight before the two title fights that we see. Might be the most stacked. Just off the top of the head, like I know Nate Diaz, Leon Edwards was a really cool one. Like in that third spot, it's like right before the co in the main event, so like it'd be the co main event, I guess you would say, or the third feature fight. It's rare that we see like a stacked fight. Like I know we just saw Michael Chandler, Tony Ferguson was a fan favorite, but for what's on the line here, the fight between Zhang Weili or Weili Zhang, whichever one you want to say, as she goes up and gets the rematch against Joanna Jedrzejczyk, and arguably the greatest women's fight of all time. Very arguable. One of the best fights ever. Clearly, that's the one that Joanna had the big fucking forehead. That I might have a picture up on here or not. Just fucking absolute brutal fucking classic. Both ladies going back and forth. There for a little bit, I thought Joanna was about to pull it out, but I thought Zhang Weili did enough in that fifth round to get the dub. It's kind of like with the bad judging going on right now. I'd like to see more draws or more ties. Technically, like, I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, but back in the day, if there was a fight on the schoolyard or whatever, the playground, and nobody got finished or anything, or nobody's cut or anything like that, like everybody'd be like, yeah, it was a tie. Not too many people, or not one of them had a better thing. Like, yeah, maybe somebody landed a better punch, but then the other person got the takedown. Stuff like that. I just wish it was more like schoolyard rules almost, like if nobody gets knocked out or finished or anything, or just absolutely dominated, like it's a tie. So I'd like to see a little bit more of that. But with that being said, I don't think this fight this weekend's going to be left in the judges' hands, which, I mean, I guess it could just because the ladies are so small and they're so fucking talented. But we've seen both of them get knocked out, and lucky for them, they're both Rose. So this is cool because if we bring up Rose as well, her last performance, maybe not the greatest of all. Like, it was definitely probably the most boring fight. One of the more boring fights in UFC history. So with Rose Namajunas not being the champion now, like, this is fucking huge for, Joanna or Zhang Weili to finally get that title fight again, because guess what? They both are 0-2 against Rose. So, I mean, it's going to be tough just because I just don't... Joanna's been out for a while, holding on for one of these big fights. She gets it. Zhang Weili just had a really tough performance. I don't know. It's tough. I'm up in the air right now. Clearly, I'm struggling on the camera right now, just trying to think of how I see this going down. I guess the fan in me has seen enough Joanna in her day that I think that she's probably gonna get the dub. I really firmly believe that we've seen almost too much of her, if that makes sense. Like, not to be mean, because she's one of the greatest fighters of all time. Women fight especially. But the only thing that's tough is, Zhang Weili is relatively, fresh and new, I should say, to the MMA world. I know she was a champion. I know she's had some amazing finishes, some amazing classic brawls. But really, we've only seen like 6 fights compared to the Joanna's, 10. So for both of these ladies, though, they got to be excited because I think they're, not to be mean here and not to overlook Carla Esparza like I've been doing, but both of these ladies beat the shit out of Carla Esparza as long as they, come in and not being hesitant. But like, I see Zhang Weili running through Carla. I mean, we've already watched Joanna absolutely dismantle Carla. So if you're a Joanna fan, this might be her last chance at a belt, to be honest here. Like, because if they don't go with the Rose rematch, it's because of the boringness of the fight. Like, if Joanna can squeak by Zhang Weili and either get a decision, any type of win here is going to be enough, as long as it's not a boring one. Like, we can go from seeing Joanna kind of being like, she out of her prime, like she was about to beat Ronda's record, gets knocked out by Rose, goes on, kind of struggles a little bit, and it's like, okay, she looks beatable now. She's not quite the boogie woman we remember, but, we were kind of sitting there for a while, be like, is she ever going to get that title shot again? Then here it is now. I feel like for these top ladies, even Jessica Andrade, like, the fact that Rose isn't the champion now and Carla's back to it, this division's been more open than ever. And not to be mean to Carla, because Carla is a great wrestler and everything, but I just don't see it, man. I really think Rose dropped the ball. I'm really looking forward to the power of Zhang Weili, coming up against the precision and just absolute speed of Joanna, which was the first fight. That's all it was. It was Joanna landing a lot, but, Zhang Weili hitting the bigger shots. I guess part of me is leaning towards there's going to be a finish. I'm kind of excited to see which Joanna comes out, because not to be mean to Joanna either, she kind of went from like the, in the greatest way possible, this is not a mean way, but like she kind of went from like the ugly duckling coming up to like, didn't have the money and like wasn't making herself look the greatest. And now, she's got the boob jobs, got the makeup, she's probably got a stylist now. Like, she just looks like a very pretty woman. And I think that might take away from her fighting, not to be mean. But when it comes to this high level of MMA and just competition, like, you have to look at these small things, like very, very minute things that are outside of the cage that could lead into it. So I think Zhang Weili's hungry. I think something about those Chinese, fighters that just always are just so hard on themselves and everything, and their teams are, and they keep them very, very, I guess, responsible for everything. So if they get a loss, they want to come back even heavier. So, I think I am leaning towards Zhang Weili after all of this. And regardless, I know it's going to be a great fucking fight. Would not be, I'm not sitting here saying let's go to the bank and let's bank on this about to be the the fight of the year candidate, because I don't think it's going to be the same one as they originally were. Because I think this is one of those ones you come in a little more hesitant. You know what the other person's got. Like, I think it's going to be a little bit more of a chess match instead of a like a Jenga match where you're just trying to just demolish things. So very excited to see what happens. And the fact that this is not even a co-main event or main event, just absolutely amazing for us as fight fans. So I'm really excited to see. And this is their time for both ladies. I think if they can, come up with a very big dominant win, you're probably getting that title fight against Carla Esparza, and you're probably going to win. So as long as Rose doesn't get that title fight and gets it back, I think this could be very huge for Joanna and Zhang Weili regardless. So whoever wins this fight, I'm probably putting money down to win the title. So, but hey, it's been the 5th round as always. Stephen Moustaris, and I'm just so excited for UFC 275. So let's get it, baby.